So the one thing holding you back from your creativity reaching the world is that your world is too small. Let me explain. If you are new here, I am Dr. Marcus Norris. I am a composer. I am a producer. I am the director of Southside Symphony. I scored Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul for NBC Universal and also Lady in the Lake for Apple TV. I worked with Beyonce, Andrew Day, blah, blah, blah. I have to say all these things at the beginning of the video so that you know I'm not just some hack in his mama's basement. Nothing wrong with being in your mom's basement, but I have to say all these things so that I have some success. I know what I'm talking about a little bit. I got my PhD from UCLA. They don't just hand those out to anybody. So your world is too small, and that's why your creativity is not allowing you to reach the world. Let me explain by telling you a story. So recently I was in New York I was composer in residence for Juilliard's music advancement program, and I wrote this orchestra piece for them in the style of Southside Symphony. It was so fun. It was such a good time. I think the piece is on my page. Go watch that if you haven't heard it. But, if you know anything about New York, there's a bajillion people that live there, right? And I was trying to record a promo video, just like a short promo for another performance I was having like the following week for the Louisiana Phil was performing my piece, My Idols. I'm out there and I'm just and I'm trying to find a good place to record and I'm trying to record, but there's so much noise, there's so many people walking around. And I don't know, just for whatever reason in that moment, it just hit me how many millions, bajillions of people there are there and how many, and multiply that to the world, how many more people there are in the world. I grew up in a small town called Jackson, Michigan, and I grew up, in poverty. I grew up low income, all of these things. So I very much often have this scarcity mindset. I just think I can't fathom how many people there are. And I think this is true even if you don't have the same type of background as me. I do think a lot of times we make our world small. I think when for the past however many years I've been pursuing my career, I think that I was thinking about it as when we define success, it most often means how do you get these accolades? How do you get these awards? How do I get the artists that I like to like me? How do I get the people that I'm a fan of to be a fan of me? How do I get my name mentioned in XYZ conversations? And I'm not saying that those are bad goals to have, but in that moment in New York, what I realized is that if 1% of 1% of these people were a fan of me enough, if I made something that resonated with them enough that they'd come out to a concert or buy a CD or, download whatever it is these days because my art added value to their life, then you're set for life, man. That's all you need. And in that context, it doesn't matter if the other 99.9% of people hate your stuff. You're still successful or worse than hate, never heard of you. You know what I mean? And just for whatever reason in that moment, it just clicked. So how am I applying this afterwards? What's the applicable thing for you to take with you as you leave this video? Is that spend no energy trying to convince people to like you. Spend no energy trying to convince people to come to your concert, to come to your art show, to buy your products or services. What you should do and what I'm doing that has completely changed my whole marketing path and how I'm putting myself out there, how I'm showing up online for things like this is that instead of trying to convince a certain pool of people or try to convince anyone to like what I'm doing, I'm just going to keep consistently putting myself out there so that the people who will like it can find me in that situation. So it's I hope it's more than 1% of the people who come across my stuff, but if not, that's completely fine. I'm embracing the fact that this video is going to be useless for some people. But if there is one person that watches this and man, that's what I need to hear today, this helps me, then I'm happy. And that's going to allow me to keep showing up and keep doing the thing for a long time. And that feels good. That it's if I can help one person, I get comments on here sometimes that it's just oh, this really helped me. Or some of the people who got me on Instagram or something, I get Instagram DMs about how these things have helped. And that really means a lot, even if there's only a couple. So stop trying to convince people to like you and start trying to figure out how can I show up consistently so that like-minded people can have the best chance to find me. And you'll be all right. All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the usual. I'll see you in the next one.